Hey guys, Mitch Deskis here, about to bring you a deadlift tutorial. I know last week I did a squat tutorial. Now I thought it'd be great to bring you guys a deadlift tutorial just because I've seen tons of people with terrible form, and again, all they do is add weight, more weight, and don't focus on the form. That's how we get injured. So first thing that I always do on my deadlift warm up is I always start with the same thing like I do my squat. So I go into the foam roll. I know my foam roll, again, 5-7 minutes, just making sure my muscles are getting a little loose. Then I proceed into my dynamic warm up or my static stretching. That way I can open up my hip flexors and make sure those muscles aren't so tight. So what I do with my warm up, first off, I'm gonna show you guys the actual form before I actually go into my warm up. So normally with most strength coaches is they take it from the ground up as far as the form. They're making sure you obviously your back straight, your butt's down. What I like to do, and I learned this from Elliot Hull's strength camp, is taking it from up top to the ground. That way we're making sure our body's aligned versus then adding weight and again our back starts to arch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure our feet are lined up. Now with me personally, I like to have mine about shoulder width apart. Now you see some people that like to go at sumo. Sumo is more or less when people are very strong in their hip flexors. Now whenever you come in a little bit shorter, that's when people are more dominant with their leg strength. So because I like to squat heavy, personally I've seen my strength gains a lot more whenever I have my feet closer in versus wider. Again, we always have people who want to go either hands over, or we could go the alternate. I personally like to go right and left. So normally what I do is I go about 1 inch away from my calves. So what we want to do before we even pull up is we want to make sure that bar is as close to our shins as possible. The farther out, when we pull up, it's going to be more strain on top, which is going to make the deadlift a little more difficult versus than what it's supposed to be. So the closer it is, the less work we have to put into it. So what we then do is we get back on our heels, we put our butt down, just like we would a squat, so that butt's all the way down to the ground, and then we explode up through the heels, dragging the bar across our legs, locking at that lower back. We want to bend those knees about 20 degrees. So like I said, this is me teaching you from up top going to the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend the knees about 20 degrees. We're going to bend those slightly first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to slide that bar across our thighs, keeping that back straight, our heads up. Again, we're not bending our knees anymore. Once we hit those knees, we then drop our butt and slide that bar all the way along our shins and come straight back down. And then explode right back up. Right back down. We want to focus on keeping our butt down. Now you see a lot of guys, whenever they increase the weight, their butt tends to come up before they lift the weight, and it's all lower back. So when people say that they've hurt that lower back, which I've done many times in my career with deadlifting, is you want to make sure the butt's down, because honestly that's where all the power comes from, the glutes, hamstrings, and your quads. That's where the power comes from. Then once we get above the knee, that's when that lower back is engaged, and that's when we incorporate that lower back. So guys, that is the deadlift tutorial. Again, the key points: you want to focus on getting all the way down. You want to focus on keeping that bar across our shins the whole entire time. Don't let that come out in front. We don't want to get over on our toes just like the squat. Once we do that, it's over. You're not going to be able to lift it because you're going to engage more your lower back. So sit back on our heels, make sure the bar is in front, and keeping that back straight. Thanks guys, take care.